Me either. Let's go ahead and get started, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. If you have a cell phone on your person, if you would be kind enough to either put that on vibrate or turn it off during the meeting, we would be very appreciative of that. Also, there is in the agenda an opportunity for the agenda says non-agenda speakers, that's the public, to speak. If you want to speak, there are slips that are out in the foyer area right out here. I've received one, but we're going to go through some recognition of athletes here real quick, so if someone wants to speak, hasn't done that, that'd be a great chance for you to do that. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the roll call. Count.
Yeah, Cheryl Armstrong here. Jeff Branson.
Here.
Dave Erb. John Hedges.
Here.
Ashley Overton.
Here.
Jacob Uphoff.
Here.
And Dale Ryder.
Here. Item 2 on the agenda, reception of visitors. First is the agenda visitors. Do I turn this over to
I would kick it off with Mrs. Stewart here to start with the minutes.
Mrs. Stewart? Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So I have 2 of our Perfection dancers here tonight that are representing their team. The MMS Perfections placed 6th in Palm and 9th in Jazz at the IDTA State Championship this year. And they are coached by Faith Whitley. So we have Kylie Jansen and Catherine Stewart, and other members of that team were Kinley Poole, Avery Peters, Lily Schuler, Chase Berkheimer, Madison Dodd, Sutton Gass, Cambry Gibson, Audrey Walker, Harper Hill, Carmen Lawhorn, Reese Lindley, and then these 2. So they did a nice job. If you know anything about dance, dance is one of those sports that is an all-year sport. They start in early fall. Actually, they just tell me about practice that they have tomorrow morning. But they play they perform between our 7th grade and 8th grade basketball games. And about the time that the basketball seasons wrap up, then they're actually in their competition season. So it is a long sport, and they work really hard at it. So, congratulations. The middle school also has some tracksters coming that have some state qualifiers. I'm going to let Ms. Prinko here. She's going to talk about the great accomplishments of her team. I want to thank you, Ms. Prinko, because if you know Ms. Prinko, she actually kind of retired from coaching and then she came back. She says she's retiring this year, but we'll see her. So I'll let her share with you about her students.
All right, so I have Landon Brown, Kelly Griffin, I already said it's not here today, and have Peyton Loncourt. These guys worked really, really hard this season. It's really tough. We're in a really tough sectional because we're in class 4A. That means we run the Chicago schools and East Peoria, all of that. So it's a lot of competition. So Landon here at sectionals, he actually placed first with a 9.29 meter throw in a shot put, which qualified for first state. And then Peyton here for high jump, she's in 7th grade, so she's in high jump next year, right? Yeah. And so she placed 4th at sectionals with a jump of a 1.41, which also called it her first state as well. And then Mrs. Kaylee Griffin, and she's an 8th grade, a long jumper. And this one here, it fought me the whole season. She didn't believe that she could really jump that high. And I made her promise. I said, I'll get you to the podium. I promise. And so she jumped a 4.94. She placed 3rd at sectionals, and she made it to the podium. She placed 8th at state. Next year, and I hope to keep it going.
Yep. Next up would be Mr. Duckett.
Okay, at the high school, we have, we're going to recognize the same, our state qualifiers and our Apollo Conference champions. So we will start with our dance team. So Coach Smith, if you'll bring your dancers in.
don't have anything written. We just came from practice, actually. So these girls are a little tired. They had LTS this morning, and then they had practice this evening. My varsity team was composed of 12 dancers last year, and our JV team had 8. Both teams qualified the very first competition that we went to, so that was amazing. They qualified three routines apiece, so they competed in jazz, pom, and lyrical at the varsity level, and then JV was lyrical and pom. Was it lyrical and pom? All three? All three as well. So they were able to bring home, we brought home 2nd place in state for pom at the varsity level, and then our JV team is the reigning state champions for the JV pom once again this year. So our season has already started. As I said, we've already started practicing. We go to camp next week, and we'll be attending Champaign, the University of Illinois for a UDA camp next week, and then we'll come back and we'll continue getting ready for football season. And then at the conclusion of football season, we start in with basketball. We perform at the girls and the boys basketball games. And then also our competitions circuit, which is IDTA, the Illinois Drill Team Association, and then also within the IHSA sectionals and state competitions as well. So this was the WAVET's 25th year of attending the state level of competition since I've been coaching. So quite an accomplishment for these young ladies here. With me, I have Maggie here, Molly Stewart, Brooklyn Redford, Natalie Cool, and Ellie Miller, who were varsity members last year, and Aurelia Gonzalez, who was a JV member last year and has now bumped up to our varsity program this year. So all of these young ladies get to work with me all year long. Thank you for having us.
I know, so for some of our athletes, it's work or it's summer or whatever, but I know I see, is Chloe out there, right? And or any of my other female track?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, come on in, girls. We'll go girls track. Now, you guys are in high school and you graduated, and you're good at this. Like, you love speaking in front of people, right?
Yeah.
All right, you jump in. I'm gonna let you talk about the team, talk about what you guys accomplished as a group, and then we'll let Zion and Ciasia also tell the other things that oh yeah, you can do it. You're a high schooler. Come on.
Okay, so this is our 4x1 and 4x2 team -1. Our youngest was a freshman. Her name is Lauren Hampton. She's currently actually at another track practice, so she's putting in the work. We qualified this year for the 4x1 and the 4x2. Somehow, I'm very shocked we made it in the 4x1, but that was a really big accomplishment on our part. We were also 100th of a second off the school record. So now we are the 2nd fastest in Mattoon High School history, which is pretty cool. I don't know. You guys want to say something?
Me and Zion both also qualified in triple jump as well.
And
Zion, you did what this year?
I broke our school record for triple jump.
Thank you, girls, for all your hard work. Thank you for coming. Now, tell us a little bit about what future holds for you.
Yeah, so after high school, I'll be attending the University of Illinois in the fall. I'll be majoring in architecture, and I'm also part of the Fighting Illini cheer team. So.
I'll be attending Lakeland and majoring in business.
Oh, I'm only gonna be a junior.
So Zion will be at LTS tomorrow morning getting ready for next year, right? All right, very good. All right, thank you, girls. Thank you. Congratulations. I know none of our boys track athletes could make it this evening. We had 3 that we would have recognized, or if they were here, we would still recognize them, but they aren't here this evening. Jackson Morgan was an Apollo Conference high jump champion. So he did a wonderful job this year and won the Apollo Conference meet was in Taylorville this year. I got to go over there and watch him, and he really did well. Did a nice job over there. Mitchell Clapp is our big thrower at the high school, among many other things that he does and he excels at. So he was the Apollo Conference champion in the shot put, discus, my fault, discus. And he was also a state qualifier, sectional champion and state qualifier, and he was over at the state meet at EIU. Cooper Spencer joined him as a state qualifier in the pole vault over at EIU. So we were very appreciative of the time and effort that those boys put in to their season. All right, so a big round of applause for them, even though they couldn't be here this evening. And then, do I have any tennis? Is Dalton out there? I thought Coach Boyer said Dalton was going to make it today. Okay. But so one other event that we want to recognize, we have boys tennis and our doubles tennis team. So if you don't know anything about tennis, you have a 1 through 6 singles, and then you have your top 3 doubles teams that play. And in state, you have to choose. So like your 1 and 2 tennis players might be really good at singles, but you have to choose if they're going to play singles or if they're going to play doubles. They can't do both. So this year, Coach Boyer made the decision that Dalton Short and Will Pullen would compete as a doubles team, and they had a phenomenal season. They really did. They were conference champs. They were sectional champs. They were the first doubles team or first tennis team to be seeded in state. So the top 16 get a seed, and then everybody else is random. So they were the first team ever to be a seeded team, and they placed in the top 10 in the state in doubles tennis. So we were very proud of them. Dalton will continue his career as a tennis player at Illinois College, and Will is not going to continue his career, but he had an excellent athletic career for us at Mattoon High School. He's qualified for state in golf and tennis. So very proud of both of those guys, very proud of what Coach Boyer's done with our tennis program at Mattoon High School. So we'll give them a round of applause. And I believe that is that. I do want to make a plug for those athletes out there. You heard them talk about LTS, and I'm wearing the shirt that the kids wear. What we're doing in the summer, so far we're averaging about 145 kids a morning come in at 7:15, and we start. And they run, and they lift, and they push themselves to be the best that they can be. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, we throw in the mental performance piece too, because we're trying to build a culture of success, build a competitive culture at Mattoon High School. Very proud of those kids. If you get a chance to talk to one of them, to see them, to ask them how it's going, don't ask them at 8:30 because they may not love it so much at about that time. But you can always come out to the football field. We're out there working, or they're in the weight room working. And I'm so proud of our kids that are there and committed to that. And they're there to be a Mattoon, to do it for Mattoon. That's why they're there, right? They want to push themselves and they want to represent Mattoon well. And it's not just football, right? It is our dance team, our cheer team, our track team, our volleyball. They're all there and they're all doing it together. And that's what's cool. We're building a family, right? So when they all tomorrow have to wear this shirt, their white shirt, we're a team. It's our uniform, right? That's what we do. And so that's what we're trying to build. Very proud of them. Very thankful for the support that our fans and our community gives us to the athletic program at Mattoon High School. So we're going to keep pushing. And again, go Green Wave, right? So that's what it's all about. Yes, sorry. Oh. So it means learn the stance. So what we're doing in the month of June, we have 4 weeks where we're going to learn the stance. So we're setting a standard for ourselves, high standard where we want to be. And then in July, that shifts to live the standards. So they won't live those standards that we're teaching them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, we move on to item 2.1A, 2.2, and that is the non-agenda speaker. I have one slip. Courtney F. Courtney?
Hi, I'll be quick. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Courtney Ifft. I'm born and raised in Mattoon. My picture is actually in the Hall of Fame after 7th grade. My kids hate that, but I'm a mother of 5. I'm a former teacher, and right now I'm the youth leader at First Baptist Church for high school. Tonight I just want to talk about improving, strengthening, possibly our cell phone policy in the school district. I've never actually been in the schools and seen students on their phones, but just from being the youth leader, I use the Band app to update our kids throughout the week on what's going on. And I can see when students read my post, and I'm always saddened or surprised to see how many kids are actually looking at their cell phones during school times. And then also, our oldest is Rosalind. She just finished her 7th grade year at MMS. And she is one of the only kids who does not have a cell phone. And I'm the meanest mom ever. But I feel like
her not having a phone has given me a lot of information, not information, if you wanna, I feel like her not having one has given me a lot of feedback on if you wanna truly look at how many students are on their phones during class or in the hallways, talk to one of the kids who doesn't have one, because she is that kid. So it's been good for me just to see kind of what that interaction is like. And also, I said I'm a former teacher. I taught at Williams 14 years ago, and I'm personally very grateful that I didn't have to worry about cell phones in the classroom. But I do know that it's changing times, and I know kids were distracted with, passing notes or talking too much, but they didn't have the internet in their pocket, and so it's just a new thing we need to navigate. But a book was actually dropped off on my doorstep by a friend of mine, and it is titled The Anxious Generation. I read it in the fastest I've ever read a book, and it's about, I don't know if you guys have read it or not or seen it, but it's full of all types of data about how phones are impacting students and communities. It's full of real life resources for parents, teachers, school districts to partner with other districts that are making changes and seeing improvements in student behavior, attention, overall school atmosphere. I actually believe in the meaning of this book so much. I purchased multiple copies, and I would just like to give one to each of you. My hope is that you guys would.
Oh, that's okay.
My hope is that you guys would read it, and hopefully it would just strike up some conversations, some positive impact on ways we can handle cell phones in schools, and just continue to give students our best. So I'm going to, can I pass these out?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just gonna pass. You guys don't have enough to do. I hope I have enough. Thank you for presenting.
Thanks, George.
I hurt my, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Jake, I might take your.
Yeah, you can have that.
Oh, you do. Good, I have enough. Thank you, thank you.
So, you know what, I would just, add to your point, the board has already been talking about that, and I think Mr. Conrad's got a plan. We've been talking with him about it. I think we're gonna be moving forward with some ideas.
Okay, well, I couldn't put that book down, so I hope you guys, even just find one thing in there that you like, so.
We totally agree with you on your point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other non-agenda speakers, we'll move on to item 3. That's the consent agenda. It does require board action. Here are the items on the consent agenda. Item 3, under 3.1, approval of minutes. That would include the regular board meeting from May 13th of this year, the executive session of the same date, the special board meeting of May 27th of this year. Item 3.2, under payment of bills. That is the reports by fund that are part of the agenda, as well as the budget to actual report. Item 3.3, the approval of the enrollment report. Item 3.4, the approval of a resolution regarding the corporate personal property replacement tax distribution for fiscal year 2026. Item 3.5, the approval of the Freedom of Information report. And 3.6, approval of the curriculum updates and the K through 12 social science adoption materials, which were presented at last month's board meeting to the board. And item 3.7, approval of the board policies, which were also presented to the board at the regular meeting on May 13, 2025. That is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion from Ashley Overton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Cheryl Armstrong. Is there any discussion about the consent agenda? Very good. Okay, Kelly?
Branson,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes. Item 4 on the agenda, reports and recommendations of the business manager, Mr. Gear.
All right. I'm gonna let somebody else do a little bit of my work tonight, so. That's the wrong one. All right, so today, we're gonna do our annual presentation by Johnson Controls. We have performance contracts at the high school, middle school, and lift with Johnson Controls. So we have Jim Wolf here from Johnson Controls to present on some of the benefits that we see with the program. So Jim, tell me when you're ready, and I'll skip through the slides for you.
Thank you. Where's the appropriate place to stand?
Wherever you
Not sure. Stand over here, so I can't talk to you, look at me. Please look there. I'm gonna look down, so. Appreciate the opportunity to make this annual presentation. We're actually here in the spirit of the early presentation. We're here to celebrate. I appreciated that you were celebrating your athletes throughout the school districts, where actually this is a celebration presentation as well. For those of you that don't know, Methuen School District and Johnson Controls partnered some almost 20 years ago on what's called a performance contract, whereby we came into the school district and made energy conservation improvements in the facilities. So this report is designed to step us through what the success of the program looks like. So if you would. So in summary, we report the success of this program on an annual basis, and we characterize that annually as a calendar year. So all of these results are relative to the calendar year 2024. The program, so year to date, as we talk about the cumulative effect of all of these improvements that have been made and the investment that's been made in these improvements, the net return to the school district has been nearly $16 million. So I want to take a moment to let that sink in. $16 million return to the school district based upon this investment. We'll talk about the primary goal of the program was to reduce utility usage, reduce energy consumption at each of the schools. And in so doing that, and we accomplished that by replacing older, lesser efficient equipment with newer, more efficient equipment. It helps also to reduce the operating costs by reducing the maintenance associated with that older equipment. And it has probably a benefit that is difficult to monetize, but incredibly important to, I'm sure, all of you sitting here. It helps to improve the environment. So in your case, it improves the academic and the learning environment, right? So if we have a more comfortable space, studies have shown that the more comfortable the learning environment, the better the attention to whatever is the subject matter, right? So these investments have that benefit. It's difficult to monetize, but it is a benefit. And additionally, by reducing energy, you're actually reducing your carbon footprint, right? So, and we'll talk about all of that in a moment. So when we talk about, I missed the best part. Did you got that?
We'll see.
So what you'll see at the top of this top graph here, this is the annual impact of across the time that is 2006. You can't see it there. It's 2006 through 2024. You'll notice a jump here in the last 2 years. That's because of the addition of the investment and the energy conservation measures that were associated with the LIFT Center. And when we talk about the energy conservation improvements, they were made in tranches, if you will, across different buildings or different groups of your buildings. The first one was the high school, the second the middle. We touched both of your elementary schools, and as I said more recently, the LIFT Center. The numbers in the column here in the center are the value of those energy conservation improvements in 2024 dollars. And you can see that it was over $1.3 million. Again, the net cumulative effect of all of these and all of that investment, the net cumulative effect of the net reduction in energy costs across this time period has been nearly $16 million. Now I'll pause to celebrate that. When we, just some quick highlights, as I said, 2024, $1.3 million in net year alone. What we're detailing here on this page is just that some of you I've seen before. We've made this presentation on an annual basis now for several years. But we've reached the point where the project has proven its success. So it included annual reporting, but that annual reporting is expiring. So we will report on the high school again next year in 2026, but that will be the end of that reporting. Again, the project has proven to be successful. We don't need to continue to tell you that, right? And all the other phases of the program will be, they will culminate in their reporting in 2028. So, so one thing that I won't ask you to go back, Mr. Gear, but I will tell you that one of the side benefits of all of this, as I mentioned briefly before, but when you reduce the energy consumption, you also reduce your carbon footprint, right? Less energy, less impact on the environment. So sometimes it's difficult for people to quantify or to visualize what is a kilowatt hour, what is a kilowatt, what is the therm of natural gas, right? What is a BTU? It's difficult to visualize, and when we convert that energy then to something even more mystical, that is a metric ton of CO2 emissions, right? What does that look like? Well, in order to quantify that, we can break it down to things that are a little bit more visual, a little bit more readily understood. So when we talk about the energy reduction that the school district has realized, we can quantify that to be 15.7 million, or 15,729 metric tons of CO2. And, right? What's that picture look like in your heads? Mine is cloudy. It looks like gas to me. But when we correlate that to something a little bit more visual, what that means is that you have taken out of the environment the emissions associated with 3,669 vehicles driven for an entire year, right? That same value is 1.7 million gallons of gasoline, or 260,000 acres of tree seedlings grown for 10 years, right? So you think about the oxygen that's emitted by a tree, you have reduced your emissions to the extent that would be equal to 260,000 trees. So really, really impressive numbers, and again, to be celebrated. Over the course of our partnership, we've assisted the school district with, so everything I talked about thus far was the consumption side. It's how much energy you have not used in your facilities. But the energy that you do use comes at a price, right? So you've had to pay for that energy. So if you could, we partnered with the school district. Oops. My pages are out of order, so we're good. So, thank you. So we've partnered, we've assisted the school district in a consulting capacity by the programs that I described before were designed to help reduce the energy consumption, but you still have to pay for the energy that you use. So we've assisted the school district in securing fixed price, fixed volume agreements for both your natural gas and electricity, right? And the school district has taken an approach whereby the fixed volume and the fixed volume, fixed price are represented by the flat lines indicated here. Each of these are different purchases for an extended period. These are 2 years, and more recently they've been 1-year agreements. And in the volatile line that you see there is the market, where these pricing, how your pricing corresponds to the prices that would be otherwise purchased in the marketplace. And what's important to recognize is that while in some cases you could have perhaps done it a little bit better by purchasing on the open market, what you've really been able to avoid quite successfully through this approach is avoiding these peaks, right? It's that sudden run up and those extreme prices that you're trying to avoid. If we look here, that's astronomical, right? So I'm here to celebrate the administration who made this decision to pursue such a pricing and purchasing program. That is the natural gas influence on the electric side. Similarly, right, a little bit tighter market, but again, some pretty volatile, still an awful lot of volatility in the marketplace. You've really done a nice job of stabilizing the cost of the energy that you do use. Okay. When we boil all of that down to the buckets, if you will, of these different programs, you'll see on this side of the screen we characterize your energy usage on a per square foot basis, right? So this is in thousands of BTUs per square foot, which gives us a good metric against which to measure all buildings. Buildings are all different sizes. but if we boil it down to the use per square foot, we can compare them one to the next. And what we're trying to represent here is your current year versus the prior year. And one of the things that we've noticed in this profile this year is that all the schools that are listed here, the high school, middle school, 2 elementaries, and the Lift Center, they use more energy on a per square foot basis this year than they did last year. The reason for that could be explained a number of different ways. If we look at the observations in the center there, and possible causes, certainly weather has an influence. Weather will make a difference how much energy is used. If you think about your own homes, the colder the winter, the higher your bill, right? More energy you use. So that does have an influence on how much energy your schools use, and that's potentially one explanation. This equipment is now getting older, right? So it's getting a little bit more tired. That could also possibly explain the difference in usage. Maybe there were some different programs that were run this year than had been run in prior years. So that will have an influence as well. Or a program that was run last year that didn't run this year, right? And on the cost side, we saw a similar pattern where for the most part, the prices went up, which is consistent with what we would expect. Your energy usage went up, and the market shifted upward as well, right? So what's important to get and celebrate here is that these prices are not as high as they could be had you not implemented that program that we had talked about. So I think, do we have one more slide? I'll just summarize this by saying we appreciate the opportunity to have helped support the school district in the past. This slide says we welcome the opportunity to continue to do so. So thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.
Can you go back to the slide? What's the first dot point, set point, and schedules, and their possible causes? What does that mean?
Great question. So from a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning perspective, HVAC perspective, your equipment is operated based on set points, meaning if you think about the thermostat at your house, when you want it to be 72 degrees, you set your thermostat to 72 degrees. That 72 represents the set point. That is the point at which your heating and air conditioning system will determine whether to turn on or turn off. That's the set point. All of these systems include sophisticated scheduling so that we can acknowledge when school is in session and when it's not. So when the school is in session, we'll want to control it tightly to that set point temperature. When school is not in session, we can let the building float a little bit more, right? We don't care if it gets to be 75, 76, even 80 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning, nobody's in the building, right? So we want to consume your energy only at the time that it's needed.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. No action there. 4.2, acceptance of the donation from Land of Lincoln Credit Union for Lift Scholarship. So we have with us Alex Haney, Heidi Schlabel, and Sandra Pruitt from Land of Lincoln Credit Union. Come on up. So they're making a donation for $5,000 for scholarships for Lift. This will be the 4th year in a row that they have done this. So they have donated $20,000 over the 4 years. So,
Yes, I do want to say just a couple things here. We're just so happy to be able to present this donation and sponsorship to be able to help the WIC program. It's extremely important, as I think we can all say, that the investments in the future of students in our community is tremendous. I mean, we strive every single day to make sure that we're doing everything we can to financially educate them, and I know you guys are doing everything on your side to be able to educate them in our schools, and we really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thanks.
we will need board action to approve it. Yep.
We do need someone to make a motion to accept the $5,000. Actually, it was in second. Second, Chair Armstrong, you guys have become very consistent. Any questions? Sir, from council?
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
All right, that's one, 4.3.
Thank you again.
4.3, board action to approve property casualty, school board legal, workers' compensation, and other commercial policies for insurance. Diamond Brothers is our broker for this. They work with the various insurance agencies to find us the best rates they can. These are big policies that cover a lot of things. One thing that's not listed here is cybersecurity goes on there as well, all of our vehicle fleet, and many, many other things. So we are recommending that the district accept a quote from Illinois County's Risk Management Trust, which is ICRMT, for our liability, cybersecurity insurance, as well as workers' compensation for the 25-26 school year. The total package is $588,760 for all that combined. That is actually less than what we paid this current year. Insurance rates never go down. So this Greg Smith at Diamond Brothers did an excellent job for us. This is what we did last year. We actually separated into two things. We used United Heartland for our workers' comp, and then we used ICRMT for the others. And ICRMT came back with the best bids for both of them this year. So that's where the $588,760 comes from, roughly $7,000 less than we paid last year. So the administration recommends that we select ICRMT for our district insurance coverage for the 25-26 school year.
Any questions for Mr. Gear on the resolution?
Right, where does the cybersecurity insurance come in on which one of those?
It's all the combined.
Okay.
I just didn't list every single thing because it would go on and on forever. So it does a lot of different things, vehicle coverage. And just the fact that we're actually reducing when all of our buildings have increased in value. And like I said, we've done a nice job of updating our transportation fleet. I think this is a really good offer that Greg's got us for this.
Any other questions for Mr. Gear?
Is it common practice or maybe law to get quotes yearly? I mean, this is just a one-year contract and that's.
I believe we have a 3-year contract, but I have to double check on that.
So we have a broker's contract, which allows us to purchase a service to then use a broker to then go out to bid and seek that from the insurance company. On a year.
I'm sorry, this is a yearly.
That's a yearly.
I'm sorry.
It's a 3-year contract with time.
I believe so, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Next year.
What's that?
When's that 3-year
I'd
contract?
have to look at it in the next couple of years.
I think it's getting close.
Okay, thank
Motion.
Any other questions?
A second.
Motion by Jacob Hoff to approve the bid, second by John Hedges. Any discussion on the board? Cal?
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton.
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Ryder.
For purposes of possible conflict of interest, something else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gear. Item 5, reports and recommendations of the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Dr. Stokes.
Thank you. Board has before them the June personnel report. Go through there, we can see some certified resignations. Eric Levine has resigned as Maxine Middle School social worker effective to the 24-25 school year. Did a great job for us. And we sure luck in the future. Kristen Ray is resigning as Little Elementary School psychologist effective the end of the 24-25 school year. Elizabeth Schumacher is moving her resignation date. If the board recall back in early fall, to accept her resignation to the end of the 24-25 school year. She wanted to move that up to June 1st of 2025. So it's just an adjustment in her resignation date. Classified appointments, see none. Classified resignations, we have Christy Gillis resigning as Rural Elementary School Supervisor effective May 22nd, 25. Hannah Friesland is resigning Williams Elementary School Library Parapro effective the end of the 24-25 school year. Chase Logan resigning Acton High School Classroom Parapro effective immediately. Jennifer Parker resigning Acton Middle School Secretary effective June 13th, 2025. Patrick Powers is resigning again as Transportation Services Center bus driver. Patrick's done a great job for us. He was retired out of IMRF as a bus driver, came out of retirement to drive buses for us again, and he's going back into retirement. So Patrick's done a great job for us and surely be missed. That's effective May 31st, 2025. Classified appointments, Chloe Earp recommending Chloe, Acton High School graduate, as William Elementary School nurse, effective the beginning of should be 25-26 school year there, so we'll make a note. Coming up, so upcoming school year, we're excited to have her. Mary Beth Pullen, Mattoon High School Athletic Secretary, effective June 16, 2025. You're gonna see that name again in my addendum. Christy Gillis, a substitute supervisor, effective immediately. Gina Jones, a substitute supervisor, effective immediately. Caitlin Warren, substitute nurse, effective immediately. Rebecca Polson, recognized volunteer, effective immediately. Extracurricular resignations, Aaron Black, resigned Mattoon High School team massive sponsor, effective May 28, 25. As is Mina Fairchild, resigns Mattoon High School team massive sponsor, effective May 28, 2025. Jessica Meadows, resigned Mattoon Middle School school 8th grade girls track coach, effective immediately. We do have an addendum. Recommending an addendum, no certified resignations, certified appointments. Jenna Mao, we're recommending William Elementary School music teacher, effective 25-26 school year. Haley McPherson, recommends Real Elementary School special education teacher. She's going to go through the Masters of Special Ed Teaching program over at EIU for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. Claire Vogel is here. There. We are excited to recommend Claire Vogel as Mattoon Middle School assistant principal, effective for July 1, 2025. Claire's done an excellent job in our district as a teacher at the middle school, then most recently as an instructional coach and technology coach, kind of everything. Pull that up. But she's done a wonderful job. It was a great candidate pool that we had internally and externally. We went out and looked for the assistant principal, and Claire came out ahead, and we are excited to recommend her for that position. We've seen her grow professionally there as well. Classified resignations, Mary Beth, we just hired, I just had enough, is resigning Mattoon Middle School athletic secretary, effective immediately. Again, that's kind of the world we're in right now, or in my office. Accept the job, business place, she decided to stay where she was at, so let us know shortly after the agendas went out, so that's why you couldn't make any adjustments. I wish her well. Jeremy Piper, recommending as Real Elementary School classroom parapro, effective for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. Davis Johnson, resigning Mattoon High School boys golf coach, effective immediately. And lastly, some extracurricular assignments. Deborah Campbell, Mattoon Middle School yearbook sponsor, effective for the 25-26 school year. Jeremy Piper, Mattoon Middle School 6th grade basketball coach, effective for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. And Jeremy Piper, Mattoon Middle School 6th grade baseball coach, effective for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. So, are there any questions? See none, then I recommend to the board they accept the personnel report as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the personnel report as amended?
I'll make a
Motion from Jeff Branson, second. Second from John Hedges. Any discussion on the board?
Overton?
Yes.
Uphoff?
Yes.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Branson?
Yes.
Hedges?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
Just before we move on, if you don't mind, I would just like to echo our congratulations to Ms. Vogel for joining us as an assistant principal. Claire, you've been with us since 2016 and 9 years in many different roles, and happy to have you aboard. Anything you'd like to say?
I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate your support, and I'm looking forward to the positive impact that we can make together.
Thank you. All right, you want me to keep rolling here? Item 6.1, we need board action to approve a 3-year collective bargaining agreement with the Mattoon Educational Support Personnel Association, UAW Local 2384. There's now a new addition to that I've left off here, Danny. I'm looking at you. What is it? Local 2384, Unit 1?
Unit 1.
Unit 1. So just to kind of go through and highlight that, if you would just go ahead and click the next slide here. We met over the course of 2 days, but obviously did some significant work in front of that in talking through with the association leadership. And I'll just introduce here real quick, Aaron Wells, who represented the custodial staff, Amy St. John, who serves as the vice president, and as representing the secretarial staff, Danny Simpson, the president for MESPA, representing the maintenance staff,
Wendy Beals, who represents the secretarial staff and works for us at Franklin, and Lori Craig, who represents the paraprofessional staff. So with their assistance and their leadership, they were able to ratify the contract for 3 school years for a total cost on average, I guess, is 5.49, just a little under 5.5% for each of the 3 years of the contract. The language items included positions for support staff, as well as removing some older contract language around our food service staff that since the 2020 contract, that was a 5-year contract. And I think we all agree we may not consider that again for a very long time. Those food service staff have since retired, and so now all of our food service staff are employed by our food service provider. Some benefit adjustments that were included in the negotiations were the reduction of the third personal day that went from 20 years. So staff had to be employed for 20 years before they were to receive that third day. That was reduced to 15 years. That is similar language that was recently bargained with our MEA contract as well. There was some clarification for work days for 12-month staff during calendar breaks, such as spring break, as well as over Christmas break. So that additional language was crafted and agreed upon. And I guess just lastly, appreciate the work that the board team, who consisted of Mr. Hedges, as well as Mrs. Overton, and as well as the leadership from MESPA, appreciate their good work to be able to arrive at some agreements here. And not all those agreements we arrived at quickly, but we, I think, amicably came to some solutions that I think will support the district, support our students, support our community, and remain fiscally responsible. With that, I guess I would seek a motion and a second for the board's approval of the 3-year collective bargaining agreement with our support staff personnel.
Gladly. Is there a motion? Mr. Hedges makes the motion. Is there a second? Second from Cheryl Armstrong. Any discussion amongst the board?
I just was in the bargaining with you all and appreciate your time, diligence with it all. And we didn't come to everything completely the first time around, but we got there and we did it in a respectful manner. It's fair to, in my opinion, with both sides. So thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. With that, Callie?
Yeah. Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Can I say something?
Please.
I just want to thank all of the different departments. As a person who worked at Riddle and then went for a semester, I was subbing at the high school. I mean, the whole system falls apart without you guys. So I just appreciate all the hard work that you put into it.
Thank you. Amen.
Danny, team, anything you'd like to share?
I'm
good.
You know, I got something. I just want to say thank you. We had a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out, where it was going to go, and then making sure it got ratified on our end and explaining it all. But you guys made it easy for us to come to you and work with you, and we appreciate that very much.
Great, thank you.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Item 6.2, this is a typical subsequent action item that occurs following collective bargaining agreement. And it has to do with the non-contractual rate schedule. So this would include some wage schedule for the upcoming school year, the 25-26 school year. And it has been adapted now with the board's approval and the recent ratification of the collective bargaining agreement. There's some numbers that need to change. So, for example, many of these numbers have increased, but from Dr. Scosi's office, the substitute teacher rate has increased from $120 and will increase to $125 a day to keep us competitive with area districts throughout the region. That's right at the middle point for that. If we're expanding up into Champaign County and down into Effingham County. So that's, I guess, we feel like that's pretty competitive in that sense. Sub-bus drivers, another significant need for us. We've made some adjustments there as well as the sub-paraprofessional. That's increased considerably. One, since the contract's recent settlement, and two, again, to remain competitive to surrounding districts, to be able to attract some sub-paraprofessionals. So just to draw your attention to a few of those, the board had in advance of the meeting the current 24-25 non-contractual rate schedule, as well as the presented 25-26. So would be open to any questions or discussions that the board may have around this rate schedule, but we would recommend this for your approval.
Questions for the superintendent? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the 2025-26 non-contractual wage schedule as proposed? Motion from Ashley Overton, second?
Yes.
Second from John Hedges. Any discussion among the board? Calvin?
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes. Okay, seeing no further substantive business on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from Ashley Overton, a second. Mr. Branson, Calvin?
Branson,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes. Thank you all very much for coming. Have a good evening.
Not.